Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to Today in Bitcoin. Today is February 21st, 2017. Thanks so much for the person who sent me the Bitcoin. You know who you are. We communicated. Thank you. And thanks to the Dash sender also. It's 1 a.m. here, after 1 a.m. here, and that's why I seem so tired. Yesterday, it was very late. So remember, I'm in Lisbon, Portugal now. I'll be here for a little while. Bitcoin is at over $1,100. And I try to stay calm when these things happen. I tell everyone not to get too excited. But when it's a nice round number, when it breaks a barrier like that, we should all smile. We should all be happy. There's nothing wrong with smiling and being happy. But it could always drop again. But it's noteworthy. So maybe the all-time high is around the corner. Happy day for Bitcoin. And remember, after this video, I will chat with everyone in the chat room. That's starting the chat right now, I guess. I can't read the chat while I'm doing the video. So I'll link to yesterday's video below in the notes section. Tomorrow at 10:45 a.m., I'm going to have Andy Hoffman on the show. If you want to tune in then, we should be live then at 10:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I recorded a show with Crush the Street today. That should be debuting very soon. It was a great time. Great interview. We talked about Bitcoin, Dash, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, Monero. It was good. Mostly a Bitcoin, but a lot of Litecoin too, and there's others. So check out a link below to the latest Bill Still video. Just like that, Bill Still is talking about Bitcoin again. He made another Bitcoin video. I hope we had something to do with that. I think that's great. Keep on commenting on his videos and keep on emailing him. Stillreport@gmail.com, I believe it is. And you can email me at adam@trezorhelp.com if you need help with your Trezor, if you need a crypto consultation, if you just want to say hello. All right, so the Winklevoss ETF. Interesting article that I will link to below from Bitcoin Magazine, talking about how they just modified their application and mentioned something about what would happen if there's a hard fork in Bitcoin. And they will decide what the real Bitcoin is. That's what they give a reason. Here we go. And the article explains it well. In other words, the real Bitcoin for the ETF will be the coin on the side of the chain that is backed by the most hash power after 2 days, unless the custodian decides otherwise. So if this horrible thing happens, and I don't expect, if the horrible hard fork happens and there are two different Bitcoins, they're going to decide for their ETF. And that might set a precedent for what is the real Bitcoin, depending on how powerful the ETF is at that point, how much, people are going to listen to them. The bottom line to all this is it was a good article, first of all, again, linked to below, but that they had to even bring this up in the application, it does not give me confidence that it's going to be approved. I mean, it's the SEC, they're going to like that this thing could split in two, and then they're going to have to decide which one is the real one. Is that something that a regulated government agency wants to be involved with at all? I don't see this as something that's it's interesting, but it doesn't help the cause of the ETF being approved. So there has been a lot of talk about the Winklevoss ETF in the comments section of my last video, I believe it was, and someone mentioned they thought that the altcoins would also go up in value by it would surge some altcoins if Bitcoin ETF was approved, and I don't think it will. I mean, I think Bitcoin will go up much faster than the altcoins if the ETF is approved. I mean, it's not like all these traditional investors in stocks and bonds who will now be invested in Bitcoin will be like, well, I wasn't interested in Bitcoin before, but now that there's the ETF, I'm interested in Bitcoin. And now I'm going to be interested in altcoins, which are harder to get into than Bitcoin was previously. I mean, I just don't see that happening. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, people that are already in the cryptocurrency space are going to want to speculate on altcoins now because Bitcoin is surging and that the altcoins will follow. And I don't, again, I think Bitcoin will go up at a faster rate than the altcoins for some time after this, when this initial approval happens, if it happens. And I don't expect it to happen. Again, if Bitcoin ETF opens the door for the Ethereum Classic ETF, then yeah, the Ethereum Classic will go up in value once their ETF is approved. I don't know. I don't see the two really going hand in hand. Bitcoin surging because of the ETF causing the it'll be a good time to get into altcoins. No, I don't think so. I never think it's a good time to get into altcoins though. But I don't think they will also surge, at least at the same rate Bitcoin will. And anyway, you can just think about that if you want to. All right. I was also today when I was walking around Lisbon, and you see some beggars and stuff. Some like to play the accordion. That's something that you don't see in America very often, playing the accordion. One had a little dog on his shoulder when he was playing an accordion on the subway. Very impressive. But the day that we start to see beggars just holding up, Bitcoin addresses to get a Bitcoin instead of change, that will be quite a bullish day for Bitcoin. I think that's bigger than the Bitcoin ETF on a certain level, isn't it? Because when beggars and stuff start holding up Bitcoin signs, that can't crash like the ETF could. There could be problems with the ETF. It'll be a whole new realm. And of course, if we have a Bitcoin ETF, it'll be a whole new realm. But it brings up problems. I was just thinking about that. I got word, and I will link to this below, that Angola might have a Bitcoin exchange very soon. And so many people have contacted me from Angola. I hope it happens. It's a guy that has something to do, I think, with a Brazilian exchange. They both speak Portuguese in those countries, and also in Mozambique and in Portugal, which are countries I've traveled to. So let's keep an eye on that. So Andy Hoffman, who again will be on the show tomorrow, he was on Tone Vays's show, and Tone posted the show today. They talked about gold. They talked about some interesting things. It was a good show, and I'll link to it below. But around the 1 hour and 11 mark, it was a long interview. They start to talk about the cost of living, and Andy Hoffman says that the cost of living is going up. And then Tone says, well, for me, it's not really going up. And I got to say, and Andy Hoffman talks about how when Tone says that, you don't have a family and kids to send to school and to pay health insurance for the family. And the health insurance has ridiculously gone up. There's no doubt about that. But for single guys out there, and this is kind of gets me to a different subject matter. This inspired me, this little talk. The traditional cost of living is rising. Tradition being like the impulsivity, mindless way that guys live their lives. If you have to get a car, if you have to go into debt on your credit card, if you must buy a too big house or rent a too big apartment, if you must work in the retail industry and have a 9-to-5 job, if you must have a TV and a certain phone, if you must pay $50,000 a year for a worthless college education and go into debt, if you go out to eat and you don't learn how to cook, if you don't keep yourself healthy, so you have to keep going to the doctor, and if you impregnate a woman before you're married or before you can afford it, then yeah, the cost of living is going up. Okay, if you can avoid all of those things, get some Bitcoin and live like an anti-impulsive life, avoid impulsivity. If you think you're going, man, the cost of living's going down, baby. Cost of living's going down. And the money that you spend, you can put into savings, and some of that savings definitely be Bitcoin. So again, I'm speaking as a guy that, I mean, I'm not coming from Andy. I'm not speaking for married people with children here. I'm speaking for guys who can control their destiny still, okay? And avoid making all those mistakes that I just mentioned. And maybe you already are stuck in the college debt paradigm. That sucks. But hey, think about that for a little bit, about what cost of living really is and how you can control it. You're not set, and you can spend some of that extra on Bitcoin. So that's it. I post a new video here every day. Remember that, people. Keep on coming back. I'm going to be in the chat momentarily. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel. Like this video. Really, seriously, like this video. Let's try to get 70 likes for this video. Why not? Why not 70 likes? Share this video, tweet it out. I'll talk to you all later. That was this week. That was Today in Bitcoin.